11-game losing streak, beating the Sacramento Kings last night. Seth Curry putting up 24 in his first time in a Nets uniform. Bruce Brown Jr., LaMarcus Aldridge both adding 19. KD still out with a sprained MCL in his left knee. Ben Simmons is practicing, but yet to play. Meanwhile, former Net James Harden, who is now in Philly, is supposed to get game action February 25th in Minnesota. He is out until then. Here's Kevin Durant from Saturday on the absence of Harden.
James doesn't have to explain anything to anybody. He's his own man. He makes his decisions on his career by himself. You know, he doesn't owe anybody an explanation. I wasn't looking for one. I'm just glad that we got this thing done, and now we're able to move forward and get some of this noise away from. I'm sure he feel the same way, but from around our team and around our group, there's noise about what may happen, and so I'm glad we could push through that. But James doesn't owe anybody an explanation. This is his life.
Okay, KD can relate to that. Monica, Harden is out till after the All-Star break. How significant is James Harden's absence?
Molly, I think it's notable that he's not getting into the mix. You look at the teams that the Sixers are going to play prior to the All-Star break. They've got the Celtics tonight, and then they'll play the defending national champions in the Bucks before the All-Star break. To me, I understand the injury, but I am just looking for an immediate display of commitment that signifies this situation is not going to be like the last two. I can appreciate what Kevin Durant said there. He strikes me as a guy that will never encroach upon anyone's autonomy, and also he just wants to play basketball. So if this clears the cloud that was formerly over the Brooklyn Nets, he's quite content. But to me, so much more pressure is now on James Harden in terms of not just the eyeballs and the way that he did this, but you are now playing alongside the current MVP in the league, and by most people's assumption, you have to show up and carry your weight all the way through. That includes putting to bed any sort of demons that have haunted him when it comes to postseason play. And so as I looked at the schedule, one of the two, I would have liked to see him make an effort. Now, if ultimately he ends up not playing a ton of minutes, that's one thing. But I'm just looking for an immediate cue that says this is going to be different.
Well, a couple of things I want to point out. First of all, whoever that picture is of that beautiful little girl in the background over your right shoulder, that's a gorgeous little girl right there. I just wanted to sit up here and say that. That's a cutie right there. That's number one.
I was looking at the picture.
It's a really, really nice picture.
I gotta be honest, she's adorable. And I like the sign that says never stop learning, because I believe in that as well.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Molly.
The Warriors hat, that's a different subject for another day.
Exactly.
All right, it's a different subject for another day, okay? I'm saying, got to win a Big East game for crying out loud. That's number one. Number two, with all due respect, Monica McNutt, I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks are the reigning defending NBA champions, not the national champions, okay? That's college. See, that's,
you're right, I did say that.
Your Hoya paranoia, stuff like that. When they won in the 80s, that's what you stuck on. I understand that. Number three, I don't agree with your take. And dare I say, Monica McNutt, you're being a bit harsh on Mr. James Harden here.
Oh.
And I don't think that you're seeing the forest from the trees, let me say so respectfully. If you're James Harden, I have no problem with him missing games. You understand? Let's not confuse the issues. My issue is with Daryl Morey, who I love, by the way, and I think is an exceptional executive. But I think this deal it's not that it didn't make Philly better. It made Philly a hell of a lot better, and I get that. But it also made Brooklyn a hell of a lot better, and I think Brooklyn won this trade. That's my issue with Daryl Morey. I think he was too transparent in his desire to have James Harden. But what's done is done. Philly's a title contender. It's certainly a significant upgrade to what they was dealing with. James Harden is going to make them better. My issue with you, Monica, with what you said is this. James Harden has been out. While he was out, people were saying he really wasn't hurt. He just was, he just didn't want to be, he wanted to be out of Brooklyn so badly. Well, guess what? What does missing games now, particularly waiting until after the All-Star break, add credence to? The fact that he was legitimately injured and he didn't need to be playing and he needs to get ready. You can roll your eyes there, but the fact of the matter is, unless you have evidence to the contrary, you have to concede that that is a large possibility, because we all know he wanted to be in Philly. We know he definitely wanted to be with Daryl Morey. So why would you not play, okay, if, you know what, you must be hurt. That's what some people are going to believe, and that debunks the notion that he had missed games prior to departing from Brooklyn because he was just faking his injury and he wanted to be out. Now there's some credence to it. Not to mention this. There has never, ever been more pressure on James Harden in his career than exists right now. I'm talking, this is more pressure than he was facing when he had to go up against Golden State and they went into that Game 7 in Houston on their home court at the Toyota Center with people saying, what you gonna do, James, because the numbers that you generate isn't usually what it is in the regular season compared to what you do in the postseason. Now, guess what? All of that pales in comparison to the pressure he is on right now. Philadelphia with Joel Embiid playing like a league MVP candidate. I have a vote. And right now, if the season ended, Joel Embiid would be my MVP. They kept Maxey. They kept Thibault. Okay, you still have Tobias Harris. While we sniffing at Tobias Harris, the brother is a 19 to 20 point per game scorer, shooting better than 45% from the field. People acting like the brother is just somebody. No, Tobias Harris can play. So when I look at it from that perspective, you James Harden, you come there considering the way you departed Brooklyn, considering the way you departed Houston, and now here you are in Philadelphia. All eyes are on James Harden. That means when he steps out on that court, he don't need to be grabbing his hammy. He don't need to be limping. He don't need to be acting like he's the modern-day Willis Reed, where I'm hurting, I'm limping, but I'm coming out there taking one for the team. Nobody wants to hear that right now. This isn't Game 7 of a conference semifinals like last year or something like that. This is James Harden arriving in Philadelphia with profound, significant expectations. And he's got to deliver. And if that brother got to sit out the next 2 or 3 weeks to make sure he's ready, once he steps out on the court, go ahead and do it, because that's what we're looking for. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.